Ahoy, fellow jellymen.
And welcome aboard the Joy of Trek, a thunderstruck podcast exploring the classified hollow memories and mysterious missions of Star Trek.
All of it.
I'm Kaki.
I'm Kay.
And on the verge of extinction is your chief engineer, Greg. Hey, wait, what?
Together, we're on a mission through the unwinnable scenarios of Star Trek to find the moustache in every earpiece and the excellence in every episode.
Even the archival cameos.
Because every episode must be someone's favorite, and it might as well be us.
So high five Spock's Vulcan salute and join us as we proto-warp into
the Joy of Trek. Well, welcome to another episode of said show.
Yes, did you guess? Hey, listeners at home, did you guess which episode we're going to talk about?
Yes.
After having forgotten us mentioning it last time, or maybe even seeing it on your podcasting device.
Whoever looks at their podcasting device, I sure don't.
Well, you also, I mean, you're driving when you listen to our show,
true.
So that's it's not the safest thing to do. And I'm biking, which is worse.
I have at one point almost lost it after one of the fantastic edits of our chief engineer, and I was just like literally.
They sneak up on you, don't
yeah,
they?
sometimes they do. So yes, we are doing Prodigy season 1, episode 6. Kobayashi.
It's a bit of a tongue twister, isn't it?
Bit,
Star
yes.
Trek Prodigy, about the progeny of the Vanakat on the protostar with a proto drive that lets them go to proto warp in Prodigy.
Yes.
It's fun, isn't it?
Pro.
Yeah.
We need to prompt that a little bit.
Specifically the episode 6 of the so far only season. Looking forward to that second season dropping.
Yes, it has been promised to us. And
yes, through various ups and downs. It seemed for a while to be its own Kobayashi Maru.
Ooh, unwinnable. Yes, well, only if they cancel Firefly, Buffy.
Yes. Well, fortunately, we hopefully have that to look forward to soon. And in the meantime, oh gosh, I loved this show.
It's a great episode, yeah. This is the second time we've done an episode of Prodigy.
Prodigy, yeah.
And each time I go like, I really have to sit down and actually start watching the rest of this, and I somehow never get around to it. But yes.
Hey, keep podcasting. Eventually, you'll see them all.
Kind of random order though, and it might be a few years before we actually get to that, having seen all of them. If we keep this podcast running for long enough.
The previous one that we've seen, Chief, can we get a quick reminder?
Yeah, that was Time Amok, season 1, episode 8, back in January of this year.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. That's one from later in the season where the holographic Janeway realized that not only are these not her first crew, but they're not even Starfleet.
Well, in this episode, she realized that they're not her first crew.
Yeah, but she doesn't. She still thinks that they're Starfleet cadets.
Yeah, well, he's wearing the com badge. Hal is. First aired on January 6, 2022. Written by Aaron J. Waltke. That's a bit of a tongue twister. And directed by Alan Wan, with Gates McFadden and Robert Beltran.
Pardon me for anyone who was triggered by that little notification beep. I will be turning those off. There we go.
Who recommended this to us?
Oh, let's see, because I never read these ahead of time. Kobayashi was, not Kobayashi Maru, by the way. It's just the episode called Kobayashi. Yes. Which, before we get to the recommendation, I've heard that Maru kind of, not a suffix, but like a sir title. Several times on ships. Well,
it's very common suffix for Japanese ships.
Does it mean
I think it just
boat?
Means, I think so, yes.
So it's Kobayashi the boat.
I mean, it's like the SS Wisconsin, the steamship.
Is it?
I think it's something like that. Yeah, I can't remember what the Japanese name was.
I remember in X-Files it was a Western ship called the Piper Maru. So maybe they were flying under the Japanese flag.
Could be, yeah.
Chief, what's up with Maru?
So the Kobayashi Maru was named after Star Trek II screenwriter Jack B. Soward, naming after his former neighbors. As far as where Maru comes from, I've seen sometimes that it's a Japanese name, but sometimes it's a Spanish name. So it could be in different cases. I would say the pronunciation would probably be wildly different between the two, but I'm not terribly sure there. That's as far as what I can tell for sure.
Yeah.
I wish I could hear it.
Yes, we'll have to wait until we
increasingly this temporal vortex is just frustrating.
Because I know the ship that was caught by the Bikini, the fallout from one of the Bikini atoll blasts was also it was called the Lucky Drucker number 9, but Japanese name was also something Maru.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we will have found out about that by now. I'm so envious of our listeners who get to hear it before / after us.
We do, yes.
But anyway, the recommendation came from Lauren Rivers, who's recommended things to us before. Like she sent us recommendations from the modern era of Star Trek.
Faithful listener to this podcast. Thank you, Lauren.
Thank you so much. Who says,
when Prodigy first began, I did not like Dal. I thought he was arrogant and full of himself, appointing himself captain without having earned the privilege.
Yes, I recall us when it was coming out. We were sharing a Star Trek chat, and we had various perspectives on it. I was pretty much pro Dal because I figured that he was going to have this arc ahead
Right,
of him.
yes.
But this was the first episode that opinion started to shift, with him attempting the famous Kobayashi Maru. For the first time, I found Dal likable and even a bit hilarious, as he gives one of the best renditions of the test in Star Trek history. As a fellow Chaos appreciator, this was when I really started to enjoy the show.
Oh, very well. Yes. We actually forgot to do a little synopsis, didn't we?
Oh, yes.
Take it away.
Oh, right.
Remember, this is your job.
Right, yes. The crew of the Protostar has to... goes on a little exploration mission trying to find one of their missing crew members, leading to an unexpected encounter in the neutral zone with a derelict freighter and a few Klingon ships. It takes many attempts to fight their way through this scenario, while in the meantime, stuff happens.
I'm into it.
It took a bit of digging because there's not a lot of... reviews and other things about this episode to be found online. So
I know it came out at a sort of difficult time when like the new era of Star Trek was gearing up, but this was like a very different kind of tack, and also the pandemic was just about to arrive.
Oh yes, that was a good one. So it was mostly people on Reddit actually only people on Reddit that I could find anything being said looking like an opinion.
Okay,
on this episode.
Fair enough. But hey, at least they're contemporary.
So one of the fantastic Alice Fox on Reddit was in for a bit of a treat because they said, I don't know Uhura's commissioned pre-Enterprise, but I would be totally open to a retcon that gives it 2 to 3 episodes of Uhura on Strange New World. So someone got their wish in disguise.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because Strange New World was still a glimmer in everyone's eye.
Right, yes. Draskell on Reddit commented nothing other than talk about grave digging, which...
I don't fully get that, actually.
I think they were talking about, using the old audio quotes from the... trying to give a connection to old Star Trek by just using all these characters.
All right.
So,
okay, so nostalgia, yeah.
And deleted on Reddit. So leaving the 84 idiots in the Kobayashi who got themselves stranded in a neutral zone to die is morally reprehensible, but murdering a ton of Klingons is fine? For f***ing sake, Star Trek, so many of your morals will just never make sense to me.
Yeah.
I mean, valid. Dal, that is basically Dal's first thing.
Quick show of hands. Does anyone know these people?
Yeah, his solution to this situation, this unwinnable situation, is, okay, well, clearly this is not a degree of aid that we can offer.
Yeah, you guys are literally telling me that we're going to go to war if we do this. These suckers got themselves stranded there. Yeah.
But it's a traditional rock in the hard place, and that is the definition for the listeners at home who may not be aware. The Kobayashi Maru, introduced in 1982's The Wrath of Khan, and later in the Kelvin universe timeline in 2009 revealed to have been created by Spock, is a test that's part of the sort of command training program of Starfleet, a bridge simulator with a mission that is just impossible to win.
Yeah, there's no way around it. It's just to test a captain's mettle, I guess.
Yeah, how they
test the cut of their jib.
Oh, sort of like the command test that Deanna faced when she took the command training program, which was also like, there's no way to win that without a tremendous sacrifice that you have to be willing to make as a captain.
Yeah.
You have to have the experience of how that feels before you face it for the first time.
That makes sense, yeah. So that's pretty much what there was to be said about the other thing. Although I believe this scenario also comes up in Lower Decks.
Oh, does it?
I thought I read a reference somewhere to this.
I'm not sure. I mean, everything gets mentioned in Lower Decks. I think it was maybe like the reappearance of the Enterprise D bridge.
Oh.
which had also been recreated in Lower Decks and would later return in glorious fanfare in season 3 of Picard. But shall we proto-warp into this episode? Okay, here.
How fast were we going?
Around warp 9. Pog's gonna puke.
Which is pretty much the opening.
Has gone offline.
Yeah, the opening scene's still going.
Slowing to impulse power.
My father. Is he...
We lost him.
But where are we?
Computer, chart our trajectory.
Janeway's
We began
face.
in the Delta Quadrant.
Like, shit. Delta Quadrant
landed.
again.
4,000 light years away.
Envy. Greed with envy.
Nice try. No juiced up starship in the galaxy's that fast. How is that even possible?
I have no idea.
Dun, dun, dun. And thus begins our timer, right?
All
Because we're in about 30 minutes, we're going to get negged by Riker and Deanna again, like we did last
are they
week.
going to be added? Yeah. So I want to start off a little bit earlier because when we see the protostar coming out of proto-warp,
Yes.
I kind of love the what they've done with the engine nacelles because they go like past the. So when they're in proto-warp configuration, they're down.
They're underslung, yeah.
Yeah, underslung,
Talk
and
about
then
variable geometry.
and then they return not to neutral as they do for Voyager, but go back to the Voyager's regular warp position.
Yep.
And then the whole extra proto drive thing, which kind of looks like a backward-facing main deflector dish, kind of gets like the nacelles fold back in and get protected.
Yeah.
It looks really cool. I love the design.
Oh, I'm so glad. I mean, we were kind of spoiled simply because, like, we saw the opening credits before the series even aired, and the opening credits features like the deployment of the proto drive. But like, as far as spoilers go, who cares? It's so cool.
Although I have one caveat to make here. It's like I kind of always liked the simplicity and the clean lines of Star Trek ships, and it seems like they're, in order to outdo the previous generation, they're kind of like going away from that a little bit by making them more and more complicated, because it's started with Voyager with its variable geometry, and now we have the proto drive like folding itself in and out, very mecha style. So it's there seems to be a little bit of I
mean, this is
design creep.
You're not wrong. I mean, certainly we live in an era where we have a different aesthetic. The 2009 Kelvin Universe films and, of course, Discovery, they all contributed to an evolution of the sort of aesthetics of Starfleet ships. But there's also, like, this is, it is a prototype. So it would be built for functionality. It's also incredibly small. Like, really, you can... The bridge is just this one reasonably sized room, but it already comprises like 20% of the total surface area of the saucer section when seen from above. It's a more massive, chunky ship. And
then a significant part gets given to the holodeck as well, because that's at least the size of the bridge.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. A mysterious ship indeed, but she's built for speed. See, the really remarkable feature of this ship, and I think another ship that we later see in Prodigy as well, the deflector dish isn't a dish; it's this strip carved out into the underside of into the neck joining the saucer and the engineering section, which I just love. It's this line, and it creates this. Seen from the front, almost Cylon kind of appearance.
I don't think there's any front views of the very good front views of the ship here, so I can't really see that. But I'll watch out for it next time we.
But yeah, she's beautiful.
We see it, yes.
But so after whatever adventure they had in the previous episode, where they were escaping from Grin's father, the Diviner, played by John Noble, they find themselves 4,000 light years away, much to the envy of holographic Janeway, who wishes she had something like that during a mission that she was on in the Delta Quadrant. But the device has now been shut down and is inoperable, and the crew, such as they are, have to
kind of wander off.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, Dal's on the bridge, and then next shot we see him, he is in his quarters playing the little sexy game from... The addictive game, if I recall correctly.
Come on, almost.
the very like endorphin addicting game where you get the disc into the funnel and then you over and over.
Pretty much, yeah. It doesn't seem to work very much for him because he's more acting frustrated. So
now I think also like that game had been messed with, so it had been sabotaged in order to make you like real hard. I wonder whether our chief has edited out the word whether that sort of passes the filter. I wonder.
So yeah, there's a little bit of talking. And
Chief, can you come and tell us whether you've bleeped them out? No? Okay.
So there's a little bit of arguing.
Yeah.
The two of the crew, and I forgot their names.
Okay, so left to right, we've got Jank and Pog, who's the Tellarite. Yes. We've got Zero, who's the Medusa.
That's the one, yes.
They then pronouns. And then we've got Rock-Talk, goes by Rock, and she's the big...
yes.
Sort of, she's got the... what are they called? The pants with the straps. Strappy pants.
Oh, dungaroos?
Dungaroos, that's the one.
Oh, yes.
And they're all like a united front.
Well, we've been talking and arguing.
We want to go to the Federation.
Because that sounds like a good place, and yeah, let's go there. It seems like safe, you know?
Yeah.
And he's like...
Or maybe they'll arrest us for stealing a Starfleet ship.
Yep.
So, no, I'm the captain. I get to make the decisions here.
A self-appointed captain,
yes,
Jack points out.
Very true. But, yeah, no, everybody else, it's all against you. So, oh, no, but we haven't heard from Murph yet.
Yeah.
So let's go find Murph.
Diffusing this argument.
It's a nice sidestep, yeah. It's basically buying himself a little time.
What I like, though, is Dahl's not wrong to be suspicious. We happen to know because we know the Federation, and Jack points out we're refugees. They have to understand that.
Also, they could ask Janeway.
Yeah, but he doesn't know to trust them.
No, okay.
Right? Dahl's a survivor. Like they've all been kidnapped and enslaved on a work camp. They've been abused by technologically advanced people in positions of power.
Right.
So he's not wrong to be suspicious. And like they have an advantage now that's so much greater than anything they could have imagined.
Until they need to refuel. But
yeah. But such is the sort of short-term and magical thinking of young people, which is what Prodigy is all about, right? They're these young people who are discovering a vast universe and the complexity of adult life as they're being forced to live it.
Yeah. Murph is stuck on Andoria 4. Lost on Andoria 4.
He's a little jelly creature played by D. Bradley Baker, and he's just not enjoying it out in the cold.
I can imagine that, like, being a slime creature in freezing temperatures is probably not the most ideal circumstance.
No.
There's a little bit of... while they're looking, Dal finds the daughter of the big evil.
Gwendala.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we cleared a bunk for you whenever you're feeling better.
Which is really good way. It's like, yeah, are you okay? Checking in on you. Well, apparently not quite okay yet, but you know, if you want to come out, then we're here, we're out there for you, and you have a place among us. I think that's a very positive way of dealing with that.
Yeah,
giving someone a little space and time to, like, you know, get their thoughts in line and their feelings, and then tell them, like, yeah, whenever you're ready, come on out.
Yep. Because she's dealing with the realization that her father, like, abandoned or, like, prioritized the mission above her.
Yes.
And she doesn't feel like she belongs anywhere. And she's grateful that they came back to get her in this previous adventure.
Yeah, well.
Janeway wouldn't let us leave till we had everybody.
Oh.
Oh, well, anyway. Oh, yes. This is my favorite bit of Star Trek Prodigy. Teenagers failing to communicate at each other. The best part of all storytelling. I just don't love that. But it is a necessary, like, lesson to learn, because, yeah, as a kid, you're just bad at communicating. Nobody starts off great.
Yeah. Jankin finds Murph, who immediately
he just out the
GTFOs out of the
he's freezing. Oh, he's got all these glowing bits. I don't know if they were always glowing or if it just it's a response to the cold.
Maybe that's why he goes and eats the fusion generators, because it's cold and he needs to warm up.
Oh yeah. Yeah, when we come in from the cold, like a nice split pea soup, nice hot cup of tea, that'll do.
So yes, what's this freezing room doing here? It's like, seems a bit excessive for a refrigerator on a ship like this, but
holodeck program Andoria 4 is up and running. Classic.
The Holla Walla Walla.
The Holla Walla Walla.
Holla Walla Ding Dong.
Bing Bang. You get a little demonstration. Run through a few classic programs that we know from various different Star Trek series.
Skydiving on SETI Alpha 5. What a terrible idea.
Is that where they...
That's Khan's planet.
Right, yeah, that's the one.
The geologically devastated planet because another planet exploded and then it shifted orbit and there's these brain worms.
Color-wise, it kind of reminds me of there's a skydiving scene in one of the J.J. Abrams Star Treks.
Oh, that's the first one?
Yeah, that's somewhere else, I guess, yeah.
And that's over the planet... Oh, that's over Vulcan, isn't it?
Oh, it might be.
Yeah. So all these rust colors, they make sense. I like how Janeway, the three of them are sort of floating among the clouds, and Jankum and Dal, they sort of Wile E. Coyote out of view while she sort of hangs there like the Roadrunner able to fly.
Well, she's kind of like, they all fall, and then she goes after them, and they do the classic skydiving flailing pose, and Janeway is much more of a free flyer who does a perfect upright stand. Normally you do that in a T-pose, but...
Really? Yeah. For dominance or aerodynamics?
No, for aerodynamics.
Yeah, but
basically you create drag that way, and because it's quite tricky to fall to free fly standing straight down.
I'll take your word for it.
Not as hard as doing it head down, but...
See, that's what they do in the J.J. Abrams film, which was brilliantly done by taking them outside on a sunny day, having them stand on a giant sheet of reflective mylar, and filming down at them. So they've got they've got clouds above them.
Okay, that works. Yeah.
And then in order to create the specific frequency, okay, guys, I'm really excited because I just love the J.J. Abrams film so much. He likes this very specific tension of shaky cam. So not just having there are these rigs that you can put around the camera that will shake it in various directions. So you can frame the camera where you want it and you'll get the shaky cam. That wasn't enough for him. He wanted the action of a camera person desperately trying to keep focus. Right. So he would be climbing on the back of this camera operator, sort of like a monkey, yanking at the camera, he's shaking it all around while the camera person had to try and keep focus on Hikaru Sulu's face.
Nice. So yes, she gives them a few cudgels to fight in the Khalid Fee gladiatorium match, and they look at each other like, yeah, we can do that. Then the door opens and you see glowy red eyes, and like, oh, no,
and they throw down, these are lirpas. I like to say them with a Spanish accent, sort of like Ortegas does in Strange New Worlds. Do you want to get hit with a lirpa?
Beat Dracula, or
where is this from?
I don't know. There must be some sort of Count Dracula holodeck program.
Oh, the director.
I can't imagine there isn't.
Aaron Waltke tweeted originally the Dixon Hill series that Captain Picard liked to play. It was originally part of the holo program montage, but it had to be cut for time. But they kept Dracula.
Yeah,
I guess that sort of sells for a new audience.
One of Janeway's favorites.
How about a Jane Eyre Hollow novel? It's my personal favorite.
Oh, Mr. Polge! You've arrived at our cotillion just in time.
After postprandial canapes.
After postprandial.
Postprandial means after the meal.
Eating,
so why would you have after the meal? Yeah, so why would you have canapes after dinner? That seems like I would go for preprandial canapes, but that seems like more of a amuse-bouche.
I don't know. I mean, okay, so from an excellent podcast by the McElroy family called Schmanners, I learned about balls. They had a whole episode about balls. How did balls used to go?
Yes. I tried. My mind was going into various directions trying to figure out where we were going.
I know.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, even I was trying to figure out, do I edit this out? Do I bleep this? No, we're talking about the fancy kind of social function balls, not
But that's sort of, the Jane Austen kind of era, and the social functions they performed in, and the economics.
The debutante ball.
So one of the things was travel. Travel in the dark is not very safe.
No.
And so these would be all-night affairs, as in you'd arrive before...
Coaches at midnight, ambulances at 2, hearses at dawn.
Yes, exactly. It'd be an overnight affair, so you'd be dancing for 7 or 8 hours.
Wow.
Oh yeah, and each dance would be an hour's into. But it was like an opportunity to have one-on-one personal contact with a person of the opposite sex in this heavily regulated society. But so one of the ways to stay awake for that long is to keep eating.
Oh, yes, I suppose. Yeah.
So they had these regular buffets and regular mini meals, usually cold, because it was difficult to keep the kitchen running that long. But so, you'd have a main meal, and then there'd be little sort of nibbles to keep your calories up while you're dancing and sweating.
Nice.
So maybe that was the case. Also, this is Bradley D. Baker. Do I say this right, actually? D. Bradley Baker, yes. Also as the gentleman caller. So Murph is also this...
oh, okay. That's good.
I think D. Bradley Baker is sort of the James Doohan of this animated series, that he does all the other jobs.
I mean, it makes sense if your main character's primary line is Murph.
Well, hey, Alan Tudyk got a fat paycheck for playing a chicken with weird wobbly eyes.
Good point.
Then we'll watch out, Mr. Bennett.
What about this? The Kobayashi Maru.
Ah, says Hollow Janeway.
Maru, probably. But anyway, yeah. Oh, that's not good. That's not for you yet.
Why don't you go back to your little ball and cup game? Like, digging the knife in there.
Yes.
She's a good trainer.
So, of course, Dal has to try that one. Beautiful rendition of the bridge of the Enterprise D.
Oh, God, it's gorgeous. Everything coming online, all those L-car screens. The carpet is back. And it's beautifully colourful.
It's easy when you're animating.
Yeah, but
you don't need someone like whose primary job is to just keep vacuuming. It's like in between, there must have had someone on standby. It's like whenever there's nobody on the set, it's like, yeah, vacuuming.
Yeah.
Like, what do you do? I vacuum the set.
It's gorgeous. It's amazing how well the Enterprise D bridge, even though it was designed for the 4x3 era, holds up in widescreen.
Yes.
Although it could use some extra stations just to keep it busier, much like the later bridges would become.
I mean, yeah, all the stations are at the back of the loop or at the back, facing away from the main view screen.
Yeah.
So, it looks good. This is where Murph swallows himself a bunch of photon grenades.
Yeah.
Much to, what is it, Rock's dismay.
Hey, I found Murph. Better not be eating our primarium or the photon grenades. No. That's not food. Spit 'em out. That's not good.
Zero is keeping Gwyn company.
Yes. She's having a case of sadness, kind of like Padme. It's like, oh, she's dying of sadness.
Oh, no. Hey, I appreciate that she's honest about it, that she recognizes it's about herself.
It's because I'm sad, Zero. Since I cannot read your mind, may I borrow a phrase Janeway taught me? A penny for your thoughts. I don't belong here.
But Zero manages to at least console her a little bit and saying, like,
some perspective, yeah.
Again, like, there's a place for you here. Basically the same message as Dal did, but in a more practical, aligned way.
And also the understanding, like...
I too felt the pain of loneliness when your father took me from my Medusan hive mind.
So they've also experienced this loss of their world and having to adapt. Like in the case of Zero, they also had to construct this exoskeleton for themselves.
To stop them from killing everybody else, isn't it?
Yes, they are difficult to look at.
So we get a little flashback to 17 years ago, when apparently the Protostar also was around.
Yeah.
So the Protostars is probably something that Starfleet managed to get their hands on then and built a ship around to proto-warp it, I guess.
Oh, amazing how from this one clue you've put together the solution to this season-long arc. I guess we don't need to watch the rest of Prodigy now, do they? Because, no, you must have nailed it completely right in one go. Yeah, there's a lot of juicy information here, isn't it? How can a brand new prototype with magical new technology be 17 years old in this flashback, where we see John Noble playing the Diviner, the last of a species called Vaunakat, speaking with Dreadnought. He's basically Satan's robot.
Right, yes. The one who gets reassembled on board the Protostar in the other episode that we watched.
Yep.
We cannot defy the Order. And if my species dies with me, what of the Order then?
An offspring is a liability.
Yep, and he asked Dreadnought to help him do that. He climbs into essentially a Bacta tank. Tubes go into his back.
Yeah. Oh, is that? I thought that was his daughter being grown.
Yeah, I thought so too. I think we see later that the Diviner spends a lot of time in that tank, probably sustaining his life. And
he's not doing well, so...
No.
Even back then he was already not in perfect health.
And she's created in order to further whatever the Order is.
Yeah.
Back on the simulation, in Kobiyashi Maru, we have...
Dal assembling his crew for the scenario.
Give me some of the best.
Yeah, well, and I'm not that Kirk guy. I'm already the captain, so I don't want to captain. No, no two captains on one ship.
The interface. He's surrounded by all of these comm badges.
Yeah.
What's really fascinating is that some of them we nerds recognize are from realities that don't exist yet. Like one of those comm badges is from like All Good Things, so used at some point in the future, but not known to exist in the Prime universe.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, all sorts of cool stuff.
Yeah. So just give me some of the best. So Uhura.
All deck standing by, sir.
Beverly Crusher.
Looks like you could use some help, Captain.
Odo.
Yeah.
Why would... Odo was in Starfleet.
He was on a Starfleet station.
Yeah, but he wasn't Starfleet.
No, but he was part of the Starfleet hierarchy, I guess.
No, he wasn't. He's a sheriff.
He was an officer. Yeah,
no, he's not.
Yeah, he's an internal
but
security officer.
He's not a Starfleet officer.
He was also instrumental in the Dominion War and an important strategist.
Sure, but he's not Starfleet.
Not technically.
No.
But that hasn't stopped Look. Probably got a field commission at some point. I know that Kira did. She looked amazing in her Starfleet uniform. And lastly, a new science officer.
Ah, yes.
Request permission to come aboard.
Spock, who starts with permission to come aboard, which I think is from the motion picture. And Dal goes, ooh, I like this guy.
Already, yes, I'll have him.
You should take notes, Jankum. Permission granted.
They're amazing. They're these sort of 3D stylized renditions of these characters that we know so well. And it's amazing, like, they're all a little bit caricatures.
Yeah.
Right? Heightening certain properties.
Oh, yes.
Like, Uhura's, I mean, her beehive hairdo doesn't seem so overdone.
No.
She's got a sort of mild face. Beverly's brow is really emphasized because she's got these intense eyes.
Oh, yes. Big Red, as he calls her.
Yeah, interesting nicknames.
Yeah.
And pointy ears.
Yes.
He is very tall.
He is.
He's super tall. And all of these anachronistic cameos are perfectly, like, comfortable in this environment.
Well, yes.
And they all speak with clips from the films that they're from.
Which is kind of cool.
This episode was dedicated to James Doohan, Renee Auberjonois,
mustache.
and very good.
Thank you, sir, and call me Scotty.
What was he, Jellyman?
Jellyman, yes.
And of course Leonard Nimoy, who had passed away by this time. But it was wonderful to see them again. They actually did bring Gates McFadden back.
Oh, okay.
Play,
so she got to read new lines. Yes.
Yep.
But yes, old Star Trek hands are of course familiar with the Kobayashi Maru scenario, where a ship is stuck in a neutral zone after running onto a gravity mine, I believe.
It's even the same audio clip from Daraf Khan.
This is the Kobayashi Maru. We have struck a gravitic mine and have lost all power. We are sustaining many casualties.
What a bunch of whiners.
Well, suckers, bye.
Yeah.
To which the crew goes into mutiny, which is, again, Jenkins is like, yay, mutiny!
Mutiny! Yeah, I love Jankum Pog's enthusiasm for just whatever's going on. Oh, I want in. Because, he's stuck between a moral obligation to help and the political impossibility of doing so without enormous risk.
Right, yes. So, suddenly, Klingons.
Yes.
Battle stations, we are surrounded, boom, dead.
It goes very quick.
Scores, low.
Yeah.
Captain assessment score, 3%. Leadership, 2%. Judgment, 0.1%.
Oh, come on.
And Jankum says, well, that was fun. But Dal is taking this as a challenge.
Yes. Okay, I'm gonna captain the heck out of this. I'm gonna run this scenario until I'm captaining so hard that nobody has a choice but to accept me as the captain.
Yay! That's a great attitude.
Yeah.
But it is a great attitude, this sort of determination, because even though it's coming through the lens of his ego, he feels the necessity of proving himself to the people that he intends to command.
Yes, he sees himself as the captain, and now he has to make everybody else see it as well.
Yeah.
And he figures, rightly, that the only way he can do that is through excellence.
Yeah, very good. So now we split into the three plots. We've got the main plot, which is the Kobiyashi Maru. The secondary is uncovering the secrets of the protostar.
Yes. What does my father need a ship this powerful for? Well, he's bloody-minded tyrant. They don't really necessarily need ships like that for any particular purpose. They just kind of want to have them,
Yeah.
It's like, even if they didn't have a specific purpose, you'd probably still want it.
Yeah.
You might not be quite so bloody-minded about getting it, but...
Maybe he's like Ming the Merciless, on whom Dr. Senor Professor Chaotico was based.
Yes.
Who has Ming's Imperial Navy, which seems to consist of only one ship. That's the War Rocket Ajax is the only ship that ever does anything.
Yes.
So maybe that's what he wants, the War Rocket Protostar for his navy, which is just that one ship.
So they're trying to figure out like what's the ship doing? What was the Protostar doing? And Janeway's like,
the Protostar's mission was to enter the Delta Quadrant and I have no record of that.
Yeah, she's like the android Crichton from Red Dwarf trying to swear.
Smee.
Yes, very good. I knew you'd get that. Which is very frustrating. And they go, okay, well, clearly there's some damage to the memory core. We'll have to fix it. And Janeway goes,
no damage.
My memory's just fine, but it's classified.
Ooh,
the mystery deepens.
Zero, I got a question.
Zero, what would happen if you ate photon grenades asking for a friend?
Which is actually correct. Love how that's lampshaded. It's like, no, I am actually asking for a friend.
And Zero explains very rationally, because they always do.
One would explode into a burst of gamma rays and cease to exist.
Oh, that sounds bad.
Gotta go. So, yes, back to the bridge. He's on attempt number 42.
Explodey. You can see him growing tireder and tireder.
I love Beverly's comment.
The phenomenon of your stubbornness belongs in a medical textbook.
And he fails
I love
again.
this shot from behind him as he throws his arms forward, fire everything like Nero on the bridge of the Narada.
Yes.
Fire everything!
Fire everything!
But no, it doesn't help. 78, no. Attempt number 99, no. They're hiding behind the bridge console, just trying to confuse the Klingons. It's like,
and it's Spock and Uhura who are just like, whoa.
I think he finally lost it.
He's completely shattered, isn't he?
Yeah.
They're still obeying. They're still sort of hiding. This is sort of like, school kids coming back from a trip and like, everybody get underneath the windows so that our parents who are waiting for us think that we're... What?
Okay, so the interesting thing is that it's not a perfect restart of the simulation every time, because the other bridge crew are aware that they are rerunning this scenario again and again and again.
Oh yeah.
So they're it's more like in training mode. It's like, I mean, it's also how it happens in the Wrath of Khan. Like, Spock is like is he the first officer? I think he's his first officer. Yeah,
Lieutenant Savick.
Of course, most of the people on that bridge will know what they're doing. It's only the acting captain who is unaware of the implications of the scenario.
Yes, because it's a training simulation.
Yeah.
They've done it before tons of times.
Yep.
And this one just happens to. It was so brilliant. Because here's the thing that a lot of people don't like really have in their minds about the Wrath of Khan, right? Famously, Spock died. Oh, huge shock. It's like Darth Vader saying, "Luke, I am your father."
Yes.
Except it wasn't. It had been leaked months ahead of time by Gene Roddenberry, who was pissed off about having been sort of cut out of the production of Star Trek II because he spent so much money on Star Trek I and it didn't make that much money, which director Nicholas Meyer, as a first, was really pissed off at, and then turned to his advantage.
Yeah, so he basically subverted it by going, oh yeah, I'm having him dying in the opening scene, and then everybody goes like, he doesn't die for real. And then they can watch the rest of the movie.
Yes!
And
Yes, because so many in the audience, like they saw Uhura die and Scotty die and everybody died, and like and then they all come back to life, of course, because it was just a training simulation.
Yes.
But so here Dahl faces the real challenge, which is, why can't I win? What's wrong with me?
That Starfleet game is telling me I don't have what it takes to command a starship. What are you saying? It's right that the Federation's got something I don't?
Yeah. Tons of stuff.
Yeah, viaducts, grapes, hygiene, tax system.
And while he is like nattering this off, he gets ushered off the holodeck by Dahl. Like, get lost. I'm going to keep going. I need another new engineer.
But, says Jankum, who's going to point out your flaws?
Yes.
Which is a very Tellarite kind of thing. Like, that's how they achieve excellence.
Right, yes. I mean, I don't think that any of the bridge crew in this training scenario have neglected to point out Dal's flaws. But yes, I mean, he kind of feels like, oh, I can't be a good pal to you because, like, I can't be around. Why don't you want me around to, like, point out what you're doing wrong? So, yeah. That's not very nice of you to, like, stop me from doing that.
Exactly.
Yes.
That's how we show respect for one another. But this also shows, like, Dal's insecurity. He has this brief brush with self-reflection.
Yeah.
And then he reacts to that by, at the first opportunity, externalize it. Hey.
Or maybe someone on my crew isn't loyal enough. Whoa! Computer! Arch!
Now, that is a toxic form of leadership.
Yes. Unfortunately, he gets over it.
We do get Scotty!
Yes. Rock, in the meanwhile, has to deal with Murph. Murph gets, like, very glowy and very shiny and then bloats up completely and burp.
Yep, burp some gamma rays, fart some dark matter.
Yeah.
And Murph is fine.
Yep.
Ugh. Much to Rock's relief, I'm sure.
Who carries them onto the bridge, like, hey, Murph's going to be okay.
And I think he might be indestructible.
Yes. Does that come? That probably comes back later.
Oh no, it's just one of those things. You know how you create a plot thread and then it never comes back up. Star Trek's full of those. Meanwhile, Gwyn, Zero, and the captain, or holographic Janeway,
they are working on the data which has been sequestered away and has been classified.
If you're going to poke around in my head, I'll need some coffee first.
But it is in the language of her homeworld.
Yeah.
Solon. And like this is presented like, oh no, well I can only read this, but Universal Translator is, kind of equipped to deal with languages that it's never encountered before.
Usually you'd think.
Yeah.
So, but that's part of the mystery. Like, why isn't it translating this?
Yeah.
And so it must be some form of encryption.
Right.
Because she's speaking English.
Yeah.
Right? Or whatever the standard language is that's being shared here. She doesn't necessarily have it translated for her. She's remembering all these words.
But she manages to crack it. So it's like, oh yes, tiddly-doo, tiddly-dum, access granted.
You say tiddly-doo, tiddly-dum, like she's remembering a phrase that was uttered by her father, assuming that this must be encrypted, and it must be for her, because she's the progeny, right?
Right, yes.
There's no barrier we cannot overcome, for we are thou Nakat.
And that unlocks this treasure trove of data. Cut back to...
Dal also finally cracked it.
Yeah.
He is going all in.
Yes, calling back to Star Trek Beyond, except instead of Beastie Boys this time is it actually Thunderstruck by AC/DC?
It sounds like it.
Really sound like it.
It surely sounds like it is. But they never get to the...
I know. You never quite
payoff.
get the elation.
Yeah.
God, it just feels like this...
Lots of pre, no climax.
Exactly. This tantric... Oh, God.
Musical edging.
I learned of this amazing thing it's a 45-minute edit on SoundCloud. You have to find this.
Oh.
Which is Paul Stanley from Kiss.
Yes.
Doing some crowd work.
I've heard about it. I've never listened to it, but I've heard about it.
But never ever actually playing. So it's from 8 different concerts.
He's just constantly...
Toronto, listen!
Yeah. Trying to keep them, building them up, and you never get the payoff. And then
I know what song is going to be. You like some alcohol? And he's not going to do it. And then listen, why I am listening. Hey, ladies. Okay, sure. Do you like to get licked? Oh, Paul Stanley. How about you fellas? Ooh. Do you like to get licked? I mean, yes, I do, Mr. Stanley. Thank you very much for thinking of us too. Everybody may or may not like to get licked, but yes, okay. So with that having been said, he blasts the communications channels full of this extremely loud music, which apparently the Klingons are not able to turn down the volume.
No, I guess not. Yeah. Overload the warp core. Fly in there.
Full impulse. Double barrel roll. 130%.
Eject the warp core.
Yeah! Come on!
I say we eject the warp core.
Finally!
And fire a full phaser spread, and boom! Miraculously, they manage to blow up the 3 birds of prey and not the Maru.
Yeah.
I've blown up so many times. I see now. The only way out is chaos.
Everything's good. We've actually done it. Sacrificing everything that the ship can do. The impulse engine, the warp engine, all the weapons are all gone.
However, as soon as he starts to think that he has won, another ship decloaks, and this is a Klingon battle cruiser.
Oh. he goes through all the options. Okay, I've used up the entire ship. If only we could get off the bridge.
Yeah, which gets interpreted as beam onto the bridge of the Klingon battlecruiser.
Yeah.
Where he and Spock in a... Well, I mean, Dal does a lot of the fighting and shooting, and Spock just kind of casually stands there, and whenever a Klingon comes into arm's range, neck pinches them.
Yeah, Pantak jab.
Wrong podcast, Kaki.
Yeah, I know. I know. It's a deep cut. It's a deep cut for those of you. Don't worry about it. It's just neck pinch. He's sort of... Yeah, Spock is remembering his school bully sort of episode where he just neck pinched fucking everyone. And so while Dal is celebrating his victory, like he's getting out a Sharpie to draw more Ponfar art on the faces of the Klingons.
Yeah, he slumps, he throws himself into the captain's chair, puts his feet up on the console and fires a photon spread at the Enterprise.
One photon torpedo takes out the Big D.
Yes.
And this absolutely devastates him.
It's like, no, I still lost.
Yep.
But now, and this is where we get a lot of the Spock quotes, and you can clearly hear that they are from different eras and that they had a little bit... there's quite a big difference in the audio quality between various sentences that Spock utters here.
And I think... Like with modern technologies, which were available to us at the time as well, the sort of technologically assisted audio cleanup that we use on this very podcast already existed. They could have cleaned it up a lot more. They could have created much more convincing...
I suppose,
but instead, the decision was made to like piece them together archivally, how the computer would have probably done it.
Yes, that's a good point, yeah.
And we get, like... What must it have been like for like a grandparent and a child to be watching this show at the same time? And like, maybe neither of them had seen Star Trek The Next Generation. Oh, the parents sitting in the middle between them would have seen that. And then the grandparent would recognize these quotes from like episodes that they saw in the 60s.
Yeah.
What a thing to sort of bridge those eras of Star Trek. But the message is really important.
You're the captain of this ship. You can't afford the luxury of being anything less than perfect.
Yes. And you have to put them before yourself. It's like, I mean, that's service. What's it
servant
called?
Leadership.
Yes, that's one. Yeah.
So it's a style of leadership that works very well for people like us when we're in those positions, and it's an important lesson for Dal. Like,
I sat in the seat, I gave the commands, I tried to win at any cost, and I still lost.
But I should listen more.
Yes, maybe I should be using these ears more than my mouth.
Yeah,
I believe he says.
I love his ears.
Yes,
as a generously be-eared person, I appreciate the design of Dal.
In your own way, you are as stubborn as another captain of the Enterprise I once knew. Live long and prosper.
And then we get the high five, which is kind of like, oh, live long and prosper. Yeah, dude.
It's so cool because there's this fully serious moment where Spock holds up the salute and it's held in perfect stasis for just 2 seconds and then just
and that little frown that Spock gives is like he looks sideways like what the and then
and Dal is fully serious.
Oh yes, he's like no idea what he just did.
He doesn't understand. It was a terrible cultural faux pas.
Yeah. But he had ended up in simulation asked the holodeck, how was I supposed to win this?
The Kobiyashi Maru is a no-win scenario designed to test how one reacts to a hopeless situation.
And that's actually what he did.
Yes.
He really gave it his all. It wasn't good enough. He had a lesson to learn.
And he's still like, oh, no, almost got it. It's like...
Yeah. That sort of streak of stubbornness, of leaping before you look, it is something that has served some Starfleet captains well.
And he goes to the bridge to talk to the rest of the crew and to like...
Hey guys, just wanted to say I thought a lot about what you told me this morning and...
Oh, what the f*** is going on here?
Yes. Sidestepping that for a future episode, surrounded by all this data that's going to take months to climb through.
Which Jenkins is very excited about.
Rock identifies a picture of someone that they're interested in. Oh, yes. I wonder who they are.
Oh, which turns out to be Chakotay.
Captain Chakotay of the USS Protostar.
Yep.
Holographically represented and supported by another hologram of hologram Janeway, presumably.
Yes.
Or is it actual Janeway?
We don't know, yes.
And hologram Janeway goes up to this hologram of Janeway or hologram Janeway, unclear.
Well, hologram Janeway is not wearing any rank insignia. And
which hologram?
The first hologram. And
the color hologram, yeah.
And the hologram, not that I could see on the Jeeves, but...
Ooh, good call.
Yeah.
She does seem to have a stripe down the front of her uniform.
That's a zipper, I think. Which...
because the holograms of Chakotay and Janeway are largely monochrome, we can't really see whether she's wearing like the quilted grey-purple shoulders or the department color
we can definitely see that Chakotay is wearing a different style uniform because he's got the little triangle in the cuffs.
Yeah, it's a cool look.
So I would think that it's probably hologram Janeway in the hologram.
Okay.
But, who knows?
Who knows? I guess we'll never find out because it's a plot line that just gets dropped all the time. Or maybe we'll need another recommendation for an episode of Star Trek Prodigy. Hey, we didn't get interrupted by...
Did we actually do this in half an hour?
Yeah, no, there's no way. Okay, so
there might be a way because we're only like about an hour into recording at this point. So.
It would have come up anyway. I must have messed up with the background audio. Do better next time. At least we didn't get negged by Deanna and William.
I think we're nicely on time. We're pretty much
very proud of us. Okay, time to ruin all that with some with some segments. So, now that we've completed the episode, we get our that little flourish sounds so like the Prodigy theme tune, which I really love.
Oh, yes, it does a bit, indeed.
Beloved composer Foxamore did an amazing job on this composition. But so let's talk about our MVPs for the episode.
So fucking cool.
Who did you think was so fucking cool?
Who was... I think I'm going to go after with Zero.
Really?
I think Zero did a really good job.
Excellent.
Both in counselling, what's her name again? And
Gwyn.
Gwyn, yes. And just being a good crew member.
I think so too. Yeah, you'd really want someone like Zero in your back. Very
absolutely.
Dispassionate, but they care.
So yes, I think that's mine goes to Zero.
Oh, very good. I think that mine goes to Jankum.
Okay.
I think he's doing really well by everyone.
Yes.
Without trying too hard, he's remaining himself.
You have to remember that his species likes to argue and give shit and show their affection and care for that. And if you don't know that, then he seems like giving Dal a hard time, but he's in fact being really supportive.
Yeah. That's how we do it. You want to be excellent, don't you? Well, then stop doing all this terrible shit that I can see you doing.
Yes.
Because those things are not easy to learn. You need constant reinforcement and reminders from a place of love, which can really work. Although, it's such a beautiful show.
Yeah.
It's
just the art department, the animations.
Oh, you know what? No, the script writers.
Oh, okay.
They had to construct all these scenarios out of dialogue that had previously been recorded.
Yes. It's kind of like what our chief engineer does when he pulls stuff back from us and the quotes from this episode, or when he gets creative and digs stuff out from other things.
Oh, Chief! Can you imagine that? This is an amazing episode, and this is what the Chief does for us every week.
Yes.
Oh, well, shall we do Jankum Pog's little cheer for the chief engineer? Mutiny, 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 mutiny. Yeah, so that'll be mine. Oh yeah, and I love that when Odo first materializes, his first response is to scoff.
What am I doing here? I'm not even in Starfleet. Why should I be in this bloody simulation?
Now, as for the
Captain's Log Supplemental.
What kind of deleted scenes do you imagine that there are that were left on the cutting room floor?
It's very simple. It's like when they're looking for Murph and they find him on Antares 4. What was it? Antares?
Andoria 4.
Andoria 4. And they, instead of him just being shivery and GTFOing, because he's like a slimy creature, he's kind of frozen to the ground. So you've got Dal and Jankin standing around him, and they're trying to figure out how we're going to get him loose. And they end up starting... They're standing there peeing on him by the time the Janeway materializes. The guy's like, this is just a simulation, right?
Like the culmination of the first episode of the comedy series Derry Girls, where you have one of the students peeing into a plant pot, one of them climbing out of the room, one of them wresting a sandwich from the hand of a dead nun while the other pilfers her wallet. Explain that one.
All right.
Oh, it's killing nuns now, is it?
Yes.
Mine's going to be some of the other iterations of Dal's attempts at the Kobayashi Maru, because I mean, he's gone through it like 90 times by the time that he realizes that complete chaos is the only solution. Well, he must have gone through some things in between. He may have been here for weeks, for all we know.
Well, I mean, the whole scenario lasts maybe 5 minutes top, so even going through it 100 times is still only about 6 hours.
There's got to be ones that are sort of like in Castaway. You don't know how the holodeck can compress space. Maybe it can compress time.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a way that maybe we'll be able to speak with our beloved chief engineer. But there's got to be somewhere he just really loses it. You know, not just hiding behind the arch, but
crying, screaming, flat lying on the back, throwing a proper tantrum.
Yep, where he has to be sort of wrestled back from insanity, and then summon Dr. McCoy, who then spends a few like time compressed weeks consulting with him.
Deanna gets brought in to give him some mental counseling.
Yeah,
trying to.
Yeah, in my professional opinion, he's nuts.
Clearly, he must be relieved of command. No. Okay, yeah. That's,
okay, so we
clearly had some extra opportunities there that they declined to use.
Well, I thought that was all.
It is fucking cool.
There we go. I still don't have a sound effect to lead us into the clues for next week.
Bring it on.
Because our chief engineer has once again produced some clues. And for the listener at home, hey, if you have an idea for an episode that you'd like us to talk about because you love it more than anyone in the world, please do tell us about it. We love new viewpoints. We love new recommendations for any era of Star Trek, especially newer ones and the older ones. So don't delay. Go over to joyoftrek.com/links and send us your recommendations. Really want to hear them. And let's find out what we've got in store for us next time.
I'm hitting it, Captain, but we're not moving.
Hit it on.
Okay, hitting it? That's got to be Strange New Worlds, right?
Okay, yeah.
Because Pike's thing, is hit it, not your hit it on. It's okay.
I would die infinite deaths to no longer hear your whining.
Okay.
Klingon-esque or Spock?
It's very dramatic for Spock.
Yeah,
dying infinite deaths.
Yes, it sounds more like a Klingon thing.
Maybe I can get us out of here with the help of some powerful magic called science.
Ooh.
Oh, I know which one this is. Yes, I do. Oh, I'm so pleased. Let's find out. Oh, no.
Perhaps we could refrain from any unnecessary head chopping.
Oh. No, drawing a blank.
Oh, okay. We've got one more. Maybe we'll get it this time.
I'm not a wizard. I'm the chief engineer.
Oh. Huh. No. Holodeck episodes.
Oh, close. Yeah. It is a wacky one.
Yeah.
Strange New Worlds. It's going to be the Elysian Kingdom. I'm pretty sure. Let's find out.
The episode is Strange New Worlds, Season 1, Episode 8.
Yeah.
The Elysian Kingdom.
Yeah!
Very good. Well done.
I got one again. It's been a while since I got one. Well, thank you all for joining us once again. And that only leaves us with one more question.
The hell is this?
I'm leaving Starfleet.
Energize!
We hope you've enjoyed this week's episode with your friends Kay and Kaki, production and editing by Chief Engineer Greg, and music by Fox Amor. Join us next time for Strange New Worlds 108, The Elysian Kingdom. Visit joyoftrek.com/links to send us your recommendations, support us on Patreon, or to find us on Twitter. We'd love to hear from you. Thank you for listening to The Joy of Trek, and we'll see you out there.